Hi everybody. I am sitting in my Maverick that I have had for just over 4 months now. And as of right now, I am at 5,547.1 miles. And I have the hybrid all-wheel drive model of the Maverick, which is new to 2025. And by far, the most common question that I get is, what kind of fuel economy do you get? And so I thought, since I've already hit over 5,000 miles, I'd do a quick video just kind of showing the miles per gallon that I've gotten since I've had this Maverick. However, there are a couple of caveats. I guess first off, I did upgrade the tires, and so these are slightly larger. They're 235 by 65 17R Faulken Wildpeaks. They're a slightly wider, slightly taller, more aggressive tire, which obviously will affect the fuel economy a little bit. And also, since it is a taller tire, the circumference of it is about 1.79% larger. And so you do need to account for that, because I think there is a way that you can change it in the settings in the car, but the Maverick still assumes that I have the stock tires on. Also, I did have the stock tires on for the first 134 miles. And so I do need to account for that too. And so there are a couple of numbers on how to get the miles per gallon, which seems weird, but I'll explain. So first off, on the infotainment center, there is an average fuel economy. And I think this is for the lifetime of the vehicle. And that says 36.4 miles per gallon. However, I do have larger tires, and so you do need to account for that difference. And so accounting for the first 134 miles with the original tires, and then all the other miles with the slightly larger tires, you would bump that up to almost exactly 37. However, you can change the screen and look at trip 2, which I set as soon as I put on the new tires. And you can see there that I've gotten 35.4 miles per gallon. But adjusting for that larger tire size, that's almost exactly 36 miles per gallon. And so the difference between that 36 miles per gallon and that 37 miles per gallon can't really be explained by just those first 134 miles with the old tires, or with the original tires, unless I got over 77 miles per gallon, which I didn't. And so there's something a little off with how it's being calculated. But I think those two numbers kind of give you a rough estimate, that 36 and that 37. However, I didn't want to just rely on what the car told me the miles per gallon was. And so for 4 tanks of gas, I did track how much gas I was putting in and how many miles I went, just to make sure that those numbers were accurate. And so for these tanks, it was mostly commuting to work, which for me is mostly freeway. There's times where I'm going 85 miles per gallon. There's some days where there's maybe a little bit more traffic. There's sometimes, I'm off the freeway. And so I think it was a pretty good overall, normal week for me. There wasn't any, I picked tanks that I wasn't towing or wasn't hauling anything heavy or wasn't going off-roading and stuff like that. And I kept it in normal mode the whole time. So there are different drive modes, so I just kept it in normal mode. And so from those 4 tanks, if you take a weighted average of what the Maverick said, it said that I got 37 miles per gallon. However, when I ran the numbers for the amount of gas that I put in and the amount of miles that I got out, I got about 36 miles per gallon. And so I don't know why those numbers are different. I'm assuming there's some slight error in how the Maverick is calculating the miles per gallon. But again, it's about 36 or 37 miles per gallon. There are different drive modes. So I did also try a couple tanks in the eco mode, which is supposed to be a little bit more fuel efficient. It basically turns it from all-wheel drive to front wheel drive. It reduces the throttle response, and it also increases the regenerative braking. And so it seems like it should get better fuel efficiency. And the Maverick said that it was doing better. Like the numbers it was giving me was like more like 38 miles per gallon. However, when I did the calculation, I got that exact same number, that 36 miles per gallon. So I'm not sure if, in my case, if the eco mode actually is that much more efficient. Maybe if you were driving in traffic a lot, it would be. However, it was about the same for me. One more thing that I did want to mention. There was one time that I did end up hauling about 1,200 pounds, and in the cab was me, my wife, and my 2 kids. And so pretty much that like maxed out the payload of the Maverick. And on the freeway, I was still getting just over 30 miles per gallon. And when I'm not hauling, when I'm just commuting, if there is a day where there's a lot of traffic, like it's bumper to bumper, I do almost always get over 40 miles per gallon. So overall, if you drive similar to me and you have maybe a similar commute, and if you've put on a similar size tire, which I do think is like a common upgrade that a lot of people will do, I would expect about 36 miles per gallon, which I'm super happy with. I think that's awesome, especially for a truck. Thanks for watching, and let me know if there's any other videos that you guys want to see. Thanks.